Welcome back to our English learning channel, where we explore beautiful stories that not only help you improve your English but also inspire your life. Today, I have a very special story for you. A story in two parts about the incredible power of positive thinking. Whether you're struggling with your studies, your goals, or just life in general, this story will show you how your mindset can change everything. So, sit back, listen closely, and let the words guide you into a world of hope, courage, and transformation. Let's begin. The Power of Positive Thinking Part 1, The Fall. On a warm spring morning in the small town of Elmridge lived a man named Kieran, whose life was a reflection of dreams unfulfilled. He was 34 years old and married, and worked as a cashier in a local grocery store. Every morning, he would wake up with a sigh, put on the same faded uniform, and walk to the store in silence. He lived alone in a small apartment above an old bookstore, surrounded by dusty shelves and forgotten memories. Kieran had once been full of dreams. As a teenager, he wanted to become a motivational speaker. He would watch videos of famous speakers, practicing in front of a mirror, imagining standing on a stage with thousands of people listening. But life didn't go according to plan. His father passed away when he was in college, and Kieran had to quit school to support his mother and younger brother. One responsibility led to another, and his dreams slowly faded into the background. Now, years later, with his brother settled abroad and his mother gone, Kieran was alone, not just in his apartment, but in his heart. His days felt heavy. He had no energy, no motivation, and worst of all, no hope. He had convinced himself that his time had passed, and life had nothing more to offer him. But everything began to change one ordinary afternoon. It started with a customer. A woman named Mira walked into the store. She was in her mid-30s, wearing a bright yellow dress and holding a small notebook. She greeted Kieran with a cheerful smile. "Hi there, could you help me find the herbal teas?" Her voice was kind and full of warmth, and for the first time in a long time, Kieran felt like someone saw him. As he guided her to the tea aisle, Mira looked around the store with curious eyes. "You know," she said, "this place has a nice energy, old, but calm." Kieran gave a small smile. "That's one way to describe it." Mira picked a box of tea and walked with him back to the counter. As he scanned the item, she glanced at him. "Do you enjoy working here?" Kieran hesitated. No customer had ever asked him that. "It's okay," he said quietly. "It pays the bills." She nodded. "But is it what you want?" He looked at her, unsure how to answer. That question echoed in his mind for hours after she left. That night, Kieran sat by the window in his apartment, staring at the stars. He thought about her question. Is this what I want? The truth was, it wasn't. He wanted more. He had always wanted more, but wanting felt dangerous. It meant opening himself up to disappointment. Still, that single question had shaken something inside him. The next day, Mira came again. And the day after that, she became a regular customer. Sometimes she would talk about books she was reading, sometimes about ideas. And sometimes she would just smile and say, "You look like you have a great story inside you." One day, Kieran finally asked, "What do you do?" "I'm a life coach," she said. "I help people find purpose and believe in themselves again." He laughed softly. "Sounds like magic." "Sometimes it is," she said, "but mostly, it's about helping people change their thoughts. Positive thinking can do wonders." Kieran raised an eyebrow. "Positive thinking? You really believe that works?" She nodded. "Completely. Your thoughts shape your life. Change your thoughts, and you change your world." That night, Kieran went to bed thinking about her words. Change your thoughts, change your world. It sounded too simple, too easy, but something in him was curious. He decided to try, just a little. The next morning, instead of sighing when he woke up, he whispered, "Today will be a good day." It felt strange, almost fake, but he repeated it. At the store, he tried to smile more, greet customers with kindness, and find small things to be grateful for: the cool breeze, a hot cup of tea, a child's laughter in the aisle. Days passed. Slowly, something shifted. He began writing again, short notes, thoughts, reflections. He started watching motivational videos before bed. He cleaned his apartment and even decorated it with small plants and warm lights. One evening, Mira handed him a book. "This changed my life," she said. "It's called The Power of Now. I think you'll like it." Kieran read it in 3 days. It wasn't just about staying in the present. It was about being aware of your thoughts, not letting negativity control you. It was about choosing hope, even when life felt dark. The more Kieran practiced positive thinking, the more he began to see changes, not just outside, but within. He felt lighter. He started jogging in the mornings. He began journaling daily, writing about the kind of life he wanted. One day, he stood in front of the mirror and said, "I still have time. My story isn't over." He smiled at his reflection, not a fake smile, but a real one. And for the first time in years, he felt alive. But life, as always, had its own plans. Just as Kieran began feeling better, the grocery store announced it would be closing in 2 months. The building had been sold to a large chain, and all employees would lose their jobs. The news hit him like a storm. Panic, fear, and doubt rushed back. "What will I do now? I have no skills, no degree. I'm too old to start over." The old thoughts returned sharp, heavy, and cruel. But this time, something was different. Kieran didn't collapse under them. Instead, he paused, took a deep breath, and said, "No. I've come too far to give up now." He called Mira and told her everything. She listened quietly. Then she said, "This could be the opportunity you were waiting for. Maybe it's time to follow your dream." "My dream," Kieran whispered. "Yes, to become a speaker, a coach, a guide. You've lived through pain, struggle, and change. Your story can help others." He sat in silence. The idea felt both terrifying and exciting. "But what if I fail? What if you fly?" Mira said gently. That night, Kieran made a decision. He would give himself 1 year to try. To chase his old dream with new strength. He didn't know what would happen next. But for the first time in his life, he believed it could be something beautiful. Part 2. The Rise. Kieran stood at the edge of something unfamiliar: hope. For the first time in many years, he wasn't just surviving. He was choosing to live. With the grocery store closing in 6 weeks, he had two choices: search for another job or chase the dream he had buried long ago. He chose the dream. With a shaky breath and a determined heart, he sat down at his old wooden desk and began to write. His first speech was called "Start Late, Still Win." He wrote about pain, loss, and rediscovery. About falling into a life he never wanted and finally waking up from it. The words flowed like water, honest and raw. Each morning, he read his own speech out loud, practicing in front of the mirror like he had as a teenager. His voice trembled at first. His confidence wasn't built overnight. But with each passing day, it grew stronger just like him. Mira continued to guide him. She helped him polish his delivery, taught him how to use his voice and body language, and encouraged him to start a small YouTube channel. "You don't need a big stage to speak," she said. "Start where you are. Let people hear your heart." So, he did. With nothing but an old phone and a borrowed tripod, Kieran filmed his first video. He wore a plain shirt, sat in front of a bookshelf, and simply spoke from his heart. No music, no effects, just truth. He uploaded the video and waited. Hours passed, days. Only a few views came in, mostly from friends and Mira's encouragement. But one comment stood out. A young man wrote, "This made me cry. I thought it was too late for me, thank you." That single comment changed everything. Kieran realized something powerful. Even if his video reached only one person, it mattered. His story mattered. He kept going. Every week, he released a new video. Slowly, the views grew. More comments came in. People shared their stories, their struggles, their fears. And Kieran replied to each one, offering support, encouragement, and hope. He also began attending local events, open mic nights, and even schools, giving short talks about mindset, growth, and self-belief.
His words weren't perfect, but they were honest. And that's what people connected with. His catchphrase became simple: "It's never too late to begin again." Meanwhile, the old Kieran still whispered sometimes, "You're not good enough. You're just lucky." This won't last. But now he had tools. He wrote affirmations and repeated them daily. I am worthy of a beautiful life. My past does not define me. Each day is a new chance to grow. He kept a positivity journal where he wrote 3 good things every night. Some days it was simple, the sun was warm today. I laughed with a friend. I finished a new video. These small habits built a strong mind. And then, something amazing happened. A small educational platform found one of his videos and reached out. They wanted him to speak at an online event for young adults struggling with direction and motivation. Kieran said yes, though his hands trembled as he accepted. On the day of the event, over 800 people joined the live session. Kieran took a deep breath, looked into the camera, and began. He shared his story not as a perfect man, but as someone who had fallen and learned to rise. You don't need a perfect start, he said. You just need one reason to try. When the event ended, the organizers emailed him with a surprising offer. They wanted to hire him as a part-time speaker for future workshops. Kieran was stunned. All his life, he had played it small. But now, he was being seen. And not just seen, valued. With that small income, plus donations from his growing YouTube channel, he didn't need to find another job. He was building something real. He began teaching online classes on mindset, on speaking, on writing your own story. His subscribers crossed 10,000. Then 50,000. The number didn't matter as much as the impact. People from all over the world messaged him. You gave me the courage to leave a toxic job. I started writing again after watching your video. I believed in myself because you did. But the most powerful message came from a 16-year-old girl. I was going to give up on life. Then I saw your video. You made me feel less alone. I'm still here because of you. Kieran cried reading that. He remembered the version of himself who used to feel invisible. The one who thought he had no future. And now, here he was, changing lives. But even then, he never pretended everything was perfect. He still had days of doubt, moments of fear. But the difference now was simple, he didn't stay there. Positive thinking didn't mean ignoring pain. It meant choosing to believe that life could still surprise you with joy. That no matter what you had lost, there was still something left to gain. One morning, Kieran stood at the same window where he had once felt so hopeless. The sun was rising. A gentle wind carried the sound of birds. He held a cup of tea and smiled. His life hadn't become a fairy tale. It was still real, with ups and downs. But it was his. Built by courage. Built by small steps. Built by the power of choosing light over darkness again and again. And as he looked at the sky, he whispered something he once thought he'd never believe again. This is just the beginning. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope it touched your heart and reminded you that no matter where you are in life, there's always a way forward. Remember, the power of positive thinking doesn't lie in ignoring your problems. It lies in facing them with hope and choosing to keep going. If this story inspired you, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful English stories that help you learn and grow. See you in the next video.